Hi guys, today we're talking about season 2 of The Last of Us. It's going to be a review, spoiler review, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you haven't played the game, go play it. And yeah, so there's going to be a review, and I'll give you a few seconds to leave if you don't want spoilers. Okay, so this is going to be a short video because I don't really want to ramble too long about this, but I did want to talk about season 2 of The Last of Us because, first of all, okay, before we get into it, I really loved season 1 of The Last of Us, like the show, the adaptation, of course. And of course, I love the games. They're just so good. And like, Ellie is one of my favorite fictional characters. Like, she's awesome. I named one of my cats after Ellie. And she's just such a fighter, and I love her. And I love the whole arc she goes through in the game. I love how she turns from this sweet little fighter to a broken human being and kind of turns into Joel. And yeah, I love her story. It's sad, it's depressing, but it's beautiful. And yeah, so let's talk about, before I get into season 2, I just want to say season 1, really loved it. I just want to say season 1, really loved it. Bella Ramsey as young Ellie, really good. Joel and Pedro Pascal as Joel, iconic. All the casting and stuff of season 1 was iconic and perfect. And season 2, I'm also happy with. Like, I don't know why people are like this. I wanted to make a video today about like how people just need to stop with the freaking nonsense about casting. Stop it. Like, genuinely, they can't enjoy anything. I don't understand why people are like this. Like, in the beginning, when season 2 was announced and it was like Bella Ramsey is still gonna play Ellie, I was also in the boat where I was like, oh, I kind of wish they would recast her for season 2. But I was willing to let that go and see what they were gonna do with it. You know? And I'm not trying to be holier than thou or whatever, but it is kind of messed up. Like, if you go to the internet and look at the stuff they did and talked about Bella Ramsey, and they are like making fun of her looks, making fun of her acting. And I personally think she's a really good actress and she did the best with what she could work with. Because the problem of season 2 is not Bella Ramsey, it's not any of the casting, it's the writing. Okay? That's what the problem is, and that is why writing is so important. And people are blaming the actors for something they can't control. Like, they're not the ones making the decisions. Do you know that? They're just there, they get the script, and they perform the words that have been given to them and the sentiment that has been given to them by the director. They can't change these things. And you can look at Bella Ramsey and how much effort she made, like behind the scenes, she like worked out to be more muscular. Like, she definitely prepared to be the Ellie we wanted. And I think like wardrobe also let her down. She's not the problem. Like, if you edit the right hair and the right outfit onto her, she looks exactly like, well, not exactly, of course, because she's a real person. And do you know, the person who plays Ellie doesn't look like Ellie in the game? Okay? She doesn't look like Ellie. So, this is a real person. And yeah, there are people who look like Ellie, and a lot of people who look like Ellie, because every brown haired girl looks like Ellie. So that's not the problem. The casting's not the problem, okay? If you can let that go, first of all. I'm not going to rant about that for the rest of the video because I just am so tired of hearing it on the internet. There's always problems with castings these days. Every single thing that comes out, there's a problem. Snow White, this, freaking the Harry Potter casting that came out. Every single thing, there's a problem these days. And it's not because there is a problem, it's because people are making a problem that isn't there. They're looking for things to complain about at the end of the day. That's what the internet is now. It's people complaining. And it's so difficult when you, like, it's hard to block it out. As someone who loves talking about movies and watching movies and shows, and like, I like to hear other people's opinions too, but it's so hard to look for opinions that aren't just about the people's looks and stuff like that. Like, yes, it's important. Casting is important to like make a character look like what you want them to, but I think Bella Ramsey is fine for Ellie. Like, if you want to see Ellie look like Ellie, go play the game or go watch the cinematics. Like, people edit that into a movie a lot, and you can go watch that if you want to see that version of Ellie. But this is a different version of Ellie, and that's totally fine. Like, I never wanted her to be exactly like the game version because the game version's already there and it's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, you just want to see the same thing again. And I am one of those people that complained in the beginning. Like, I will be honest about that. I'm not better than you. I did think they should recast her for season 2, and I also did think the person playing Abby should have muscles. But she doesn't. And did that bother me in the beginning? Yes, it did. I'm gonna be honest about that. But then I decided to just look at the show at face value, and as someone who maybe like doesn't know anything about the game. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's a show, and they want to get people that know nothing about it as well. And the problems I had with season 2 is not the casting, like I said. It's wardrobe, writing, because like the wardrobe is what makes her not look like Ellie. Like, if you just like, they also never made her look like she's struggling, which is the entirety of The Last of Us Part 2, is Ellie struggling. Like, she's always covered in dirt and blood and bruises, and that's kind of a big part of like showing her mental side reflected in her body. Like, she's always scraped up and bloody and dirty, and they didn't do that. And that's not Bella's fault. That's the makeup team and like the directors saying that they didn't want that. So yeah, it's not Bella Ramsey's fault, like, honestly. I don't get why people are like that. Like, the writing is what's the problem. They made Ellie stupid. They made Ellie weak. And they were saying because she's so small, like Bella Ramsey is a really small girl or person. I know she identifies as they. I'm sorry for saying she, but I'm talking about the character Ellie now. And so Ellie in this version is small. I get that. And it is like kind of, the director said that it would be stupid if she like could beat people and stuff, but Ellie in the game isn't a gigantic woman. She's also kind of small. And the whole point of Ellie in the game is that she works with what she has. She's good at weapons. She uses other people's strengths against them. And she's, at the end of the day, willing to do anything to get what she wants. And that is kind of the point of Ellie in that season. And like, I just didn't get that from this. And she never had the vibe of like, I will do anything to get revenge. And that's what I had a problem with. Like, I wanted to see the broken shell of a person that Ellie becomes in part 2, okay? That's all I wanted to see. And also, I loved Dina in the show, but they kind of made Dina the main character, and they also made her kind of not as likable as the game, because she did this thing where she was like, oh, I already went back to JC. And I know it's because there's a time gap in this where Ellie's in the hospital for 3 months, and so they had to like have a reason for her to be pregnant. But you could have had her say that differently. You know, you could have said that, she could have said, oh, I can't believe I went back to JC. I was just heartbroken about Joel and needed a shoulder to cry on, and you were in the hospital. You know what I mean? That's a realistic thing. But now she was like snooty about it and like, yeah, I already went back to him. I didn't like that. That was gross. But yeah, so the writing is what I have a problem with. I'll say this a million times, because that just shows you how important it is. And I also just want to say that, like, obviously I don't 100% blame the writers, because they could have done the perfect exemplary script that we wanted, but then the director and the studio comes in and fine tweaks it to what they want, which is like vanilla it down, which is what they always do in shows and movies these days, is they like mush it down to be appealing to the widest audience, which is like boring. Like the whole point of The Last of Us Part 2 is that it shocked people. It was very divisive. Like some people hate it to this day. Some people love it, like me. I think it's one of the best games of all time, one of the best stories of all time. But it was very divisive. And if you don't take risks, what is the point? You know? Like, I feel like movies need to go back to taking risks. Like, yeah, you might lose some money, but like, wouldn't you rather take a risk? Like, these days, they're like doing this thing where they're like, don't care if it's good or not, they just send it out and they know people will watch it. So if you know people will watch it, why not take a risk? And people will go watch it anyway. I don't understand, but anyway. So yeah. What did I like about season 2? I liked Abby a lot. I felt like she had the energy of Abby, and even though I was like, I wanted to see a muscle mommy, she doesn't have the muscle that Abby has in the game, but once again, if you want to see the game, go see the game, you know? So I'm also in that boat where I need to tell myself that. And yeah, so I liked all the performances, I think were good. It's just like they worked with what they had, but the choices the writers and directors made is what I didn't like. Like a lot of the big things that Ellie goes through, they gave to Dina, and they made Ellie feel like a side character in her own story. You know what I mean? Like Jesse and Dina had more of a presence than Ellie did, which is insane because the whole thing is supposed to be about her. Just let that sink in. Like the whole thing is about Ellie and her journey of revenge. And they're still trying to go for that angle, but they're like half-assing it, which is so annoying. Like, go either way. Change the story completely or go full revenge. Okay? You can't half-ass it because then we end up with like scenes that they have in the show where like one scene it's like, oh, you're so selfish, you just want revenge. And then another scene, she's doing something that contradicts that. And like I keep thinking about this one thing with JC. Like he's telling her she's selfish and stuff, and she's going to look for Abby, and it's the scene at the aquarium that I will get into a little bit, but and JC goes to find Tommy, just like in the game. But first of all, the fight they have over it just felt so lackluster. And then while Ellie is going to look for Abby, by the way, she gets captured by Seraphites for zero reason. It just felt like a random side quest that had nothing to do with the plot. And then she finds them, of course, and etc. But so they had this argument about Abby being selfish, about Ellie being selfish. Selfish. And then later, damn, I forgot his name. JC tells her, because Tommy and JC go find her at the aquarium, and she's like, why'd you come for me? Like, I just left you on your own. I was so selfish and whatever. And then JC is like, because I knew you would burn the world down to come look for me. And it's like, no, she wouldn't. She just left you. So, like, pick a side. Like, either make her selfish, which she is in the game, because she's one-track minded. She, like, can't see past the revenge, which is what I wanted to see in the show. I wanted to see a flawed character. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to make her, like, I never found Ellie in the second game unlikable. I just want to say that. But I feel like they're trying to make her more likable. And it's like, she can still be likable and do wrong things. So, whatever. And yeah, so they did a lot of contradiction. That just was one example that I can think about at the top of my head. But yeah, the whole show felt like that. Like they went for like, oh, Ellie in the game, and then they went for like season 1 Ellie. You know, they had a split between that just didn't feel right. And I don't know if it's because they're stretching the show and like next season is going to be about Abby, and maybe they're trying to do this thing where maybe after she fails to kill Abby the second time, I suppose, then she'll turn into to Ellie from the game. Damn, I keep mixing the names up. Maybe they'll do that. Is that what they're going for? But I don't feel like that's what they're going for, because they're still trying to pretend that they're going all the way with the revenge thing, which they aren't. So pick a lane, okay? But anyway, so that's my review of season 2 of The Last of Us. I'm looking forward to season 3 because Abby's story in the game is really interesting, and I do think so far the portrayal they've done the best in the show is Abby, and I feel like she really feels like Abby, you know? So Caitlin Denver, I think is her name, is doing a really good job of giving the vibe. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I hope they make it. I hope it doesn't get cancelled, because I know there's a lot of backlash and people are like talking about like hoping they cancel it and stuff. And I do get it. Like I did feel season 2 was really lackluster, but I also feel like they have a chance to turn it around. Like season 1 was really good. And then the next season with Abby can be really interesting. I will say that it will probably be difficult to get people who've never seen the game or played the game to come back to see Abby's side of the story, because I'm sure everyone is hating Abby that hasn't played the game or whatever, because she killed Joel, of course. And even though I like dislike her and whatever, I've just seen Joel die so many times at this point, I don't even feel anything. But yeah, I'm curious about that, how people feel about Abby, that people who don't know the story, you know what I mean? So that is interesting, and I do hope they do her justice next season if it happens. And then they'll probably have season 4 be Ellie from the farm getting revenge again. And I'll look forward to that, and hopefully they go full Ellie then. And I think that's probably what they're planning to do. That's what I feel like is happening. They're trying to be like, this season, she's like transitioning slowly from young Ellie to the Ellie we know in part 2. But I really wanted there to be a stark contrast, to be honest, because that's one of my favorite things, is that she kind of seems like a whole different person. And that just shows you how much grief can change a person and how much revenge can change a person. But I do get that maybe for a show they're trying to do like the gradual type of thing. So I think that's what they're going for. But you guys can tell me in the comments what you think. But yeah, so see you in the next video.